My name is Arthur Hale. I am 95 years old. And these days, I feel like I'm the last man standing at a party that ended a long time ago. Everyone I loved, gone. Everyone I argued with, gone. Even the people I couldn't stand. Gone. My wife left first. Then my friends followed, one by one, like lights going out in a house at night. And before they left, almost all of them asked me the same question. What's your secret, Arthur? I always gave them the same answer. Clean food. And for many years, I believed that was the truth. But something started to bother me. The people who followed every rule. The ones who counted calories, exercised every morning, avoided every bad thing. They didn't stay any longer than the ones who didn't. Some of them even left earlier. So I started asking myself something different. If it wasn't the food, then what actually kept me here? I've had a lot of quiet years to think about that. More quiet than I ever asked for. And the answer I found had very little to do with what was on my plate. I drove a taxi for 41 years. Same streets, same routes, same long days and longer nights. Even now, at 95, I still wake up at 6 in the morning without an alarm. Old habits don't leave. They settle into your bones. I make my coffee. I sit in the same chair I've been sitting in for nearly half a century. Across from me, there's another chair. It's been empty for over a decade. I don't move it. I don't replace it. Some things aren't meant to be rearranged. People still come to see me. Doctors, neighbors, sometimes reporters with cameras and notebooks. They all want the same thing. A formula. A checklist. Arthur, what do you eat? How much do you sleep? Do you take vitamins? And I give them the list. They write it down like they've found gold. And then they leave, satisfied. But they always miss the real answer. Nobody ever sits down and asks, Arthur, how did you keep going after everyone was gone? How do you wake up at 95 and still decide the day matters? Those are the questions that actually matter. But people don't like those questions because they don't have easy answers. Still, I'll give you the list. 2 eggs in the morning, cooked in butter, real meat a couple of times a week, vegetables from the ground, bread, water, black coffee, no powders, no pills. And yes, sometimes chocolate after dinner, sometimes a small glass of whiskey on cold nights. I never punished myself for enjoying life. And I noticed something over the years. It's the people who treated food like a strict religion, who felt guilt at every meal, who tried to control everything perfectly. Most of them weren't happy. And unhappy people don't stay very long. I once knew a doctor, a nutrition expert, a man who knew everything about food. He sat in the back of my cab twice a week for years. He would talk on the phone with patients, telling them exactly what to eat, what to avoid, how to live. One day I asked him, what's the secret to a long life? He said, eat clean, sleep well, avoid stress. So I asked him one more thing. Do you follow all of that? There was a long silence in the car. Then he said quietly, I manage the food. I manage the sleep. But the stress, I never figured that part out. He didn't live very long. That stayed with me because it showed me something important. Knowing isn't the same as living. The real lesson came from my wife. We were married for 58 years, and I was what most people would call a good man. I worked. I came home. I provided. But she used to tell me something that I didn't understand back then. You're here, Arthur, but you're not really here. I would sit in my chair, but my mind was still out driving that taxi. Always somewhere else. Always waiting for later. After I retired, I sat in that same chair for months. No purpose, no direction. Just waiting. Days started blending together. Morning, coffee, chair, afternoon, chair. Evening, television, chair. That was my life. And slowly, something inside me started shutting down. Then one morning, for no special reason, I walked out to the garden. I saw a weed, I pulled it. Before I knew it, 2 hours had passed. My hands were dirty. My back hurt. I was out of breath. But something inside me felt awake. When I came back inside, My wife looked at me. Not surprised, not confused, just relieved, like she had been waiting for that moment for years. That's when I understood something simple. A man doesn't stop living when he gets old. He stops living when he has nothing left to move toward. Your purpose doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. For me, it became small things. The garden, a 20-minute walk every day, watching sunlight hit the window at the same time every afternoon, talking to a neighbor about nothing important, tiny things. But they gave the day somewhere to go. The people I watched fade the fastest. They didn't die from bad food. They died from having nothing to wake up for. When my wife passed, everything became quiet again. The next morning, out of habit, I made 2 cups of coffee. I put them both on the table, and I sat there, looking at them. For a long time, I couldn't drink mine, and I couldn't throw hers away. So I just sat there, with both cups, until the coffee went cold. But time didn't stop. The light shifted. The day moved forward. So I stood up, went outside, pulled a few weeds, took my walk, called my son, said very little, but it was enough. That day, I found a reason. A small one, but enough to continue. That's the real secret. Every single day, you need a reason. It doesn't have to be big. Sometimes it's so small, you could hold it in your hand. But it has to be there. My son lives about 40 minutes away. Last year, he called and said he'd visit soon. I told him something simple. I'm 95. Come now, or come when I'm gone. He came that same week. We sat together for hours, talked about things we should have said years ago. Now he visits regularly, and I understand something I didn't before. People are not optional in a long life. They are essential. And I'll tell you one more truth. Part of living this long is luck. Good bones, strong roots. I could pretend it's all discipline, but that wouldn't be honest. So here's what I've learned after 95 years. Eat real food, move your body, stay close to people. Find something that pulls you out of your chair each morning. But more than anything, stop treating your days like something to get through. Because the days aren't in your way. The days are the whole thing. You can live to 95 and still leave this world early. If you spend your life waiting to begin, don't wait. Start where you are, even if it's small, especially if it's small.